Welcome to Romadin podcast, brought to you by StudioAlpha.capital, a founders fund and startup accelerator. I'm your host, Fabian, and this is Andy, the professor for entrepreneurship and innovation. Who did you vote for last weekend, Andy?
For several parties. Yes, I used Swiss Quote. It's a matching tool, if you want. And so on one hand, the politicians answer the questions, and so I can answer the questions, and then you see how much it fits their opinion with my opinion. And you, Fabian?
I throw in the list for the pro-business party, FDP. Yeah, I took the easy way. So last week, Swiss elections, Financial Times wrote this week, Swiss elections confirm a resurgence of populists across Europe. In Germany, earlier this month, the anti-immigration AfD, previously a phenomenon only in Eastern Germany, made big gains. In Western Germany, in elections in Bavaria and Hessen. In Austria, the far-right Freedom Party has been leading the polls for months, racking up regional victories ahead of national elections. In a nutshell, the German-speaking region makes 25% of the European GDP, growing. This area is increasingly ruled by far-right politicians. Why is this? FT writes that the main driver for this are major concerns over, number one, immigration, followed by others like energy, security, and stuff. Elon is an immigrant as well, and entrepreneurship often plays a significant role in immigrant communities.
Obviously, Elon here. I'm at Eagle Pass, just arrived. As an immigrant to the United States, I'm extremely pro-immigrant, and I believe that we need a greatly expanded legal immigration system, and that we should let anyone in the country who is hardworking and honest and will be a contributor to the United States, we should have expedited legal approval for anyone who falls in that category. I think we want to do both things, smooth out legal immigration and then a flow of people that is of such a magnitude that is actually what leading to a collapse of social services.
Yeah, so hardworking and honest. So the question is, what role do immigrants play in the entrepreneurship in these different countries? Do you have some facts?
I can share you an insight here. The colleagues Velalage, Fernandez, and Bui published a recent study this year in 2023 in the International Review of Economics and Finance. And the title of the study was Immigration and Entrepreneurship. Is there a uniform relationship across the countries? So what they did, they were comparing 69 countries, and they were able to empirically demonstrate that the level of immigration has a positive impact on entrepreneurial activities in countries. So let me share this table. If you look at these statistics, it is also interesting that especially in high income countries, it has a positive effect on opportunity-driven entrepreneurship. No? Also opportunity-driven entrepreneurial activities captures the proportion of all active entrepreneurs in a country and who are pulled into a new business by the opportunity it presents, and not by necessity-driven entrepreneurship appears more in middle-income countries.
Can you explain what's the difference between necessity and opportunity-driven entrepreneurs?
The opportunity-driven entrepreneurs, they are seeking for opportunities, regardless resources currently controlled, and necessity-driven entrepreneurs, they found a company because they have no opportunity. So they cannot get a job. They have no way to get any activities that they can bring food on the table. So they found companies like kebab, haircutters. You start doing something that you know that you can do, and you start a business in sense of providing something that you can do out of your necessity to get money. So this is a big difference. And what we are looking for in high income countries like Switzerland, United States, France, Italy, all these countries you mentioned, is opportunity driven entrepreneurs because they
Which
see
does not say that if you have a kebab, a restaurant, that you can build this, then suddenly opportunities occur, and then you can build a whole chain of
yeah, you're right.
kebab stores. That's a good example here in Zurich. This is a very successful entrepreneur, yeah.
Yeah, or Conrad Hilton. He started with one hotel, also McDonald's, and he started with one grill, of course.
Out of necessity.
I don't know.
Probably yes.
Hilton.
So like the hamburger, so the difference between a kebab stand in Zurich and the three is probably not that big compared with the hamburger restaurant, small, like, huh?
That's absolutely possible, but in the personal trait of these founders must be something like, I want to grow with my company. I see an opportunity. I want to seek for this opportunity. Yes, in that sense, yes. But also look, when you look at Model 8 in this chart, we see that also this immigrant share in high income groups have an impact on export. And again, Switzerland as a country without resources, with a very narrow market, we are looking for companies that are able to produce products and services that we can export globally. So I think, yes, from that perspective, it makes sense that we have the right immigrants, illegal and the right immigrants. So immigrants that have this gene of becoming an entrepreneur, an opportunity-driven entrepreneur. So
talking about opportunities, right? So between the lines, what we say is the more people come to a country from like immigrants. So the question now is, what are the chances for like immigrants or in general, the people in Switzerland compared with the United States when you want to start a business? Is there a nation with more opportunities to get started and get started a business or less? What are the differences?
I don't know, but let's make it short. If we would found if we live in France or in Germany or in Italy, so that are the countries that we have the biggest incoming countries. The most incoming countries from immigrants are Germany, France, Italy. Okay, so and we want to found a company now in France, and then we see how France, as from administrative perspective, with these unions they have in Germany, Betrieb, and we would have now the opportunity or the possibility to move to Switzerland and to found a company in Switzerland. What would we do? No?
We would move to Switzerland.
Yeah, of course, because it's easier to start a company in Switzerland. It's easier to be an entrepreneur because we have not that narrow administrative rules like we have in Italy, France, or Germany. So I think this is probably what occurs in this study, that people that they want to found a company, they are looking for the best place to do it. And so if we move to United States, if we would be Mexicans, and we have now an idea for a nice software or I don't know, a platform, whatever, and we can now found our company in Mexico, or we could move to the United States and build our company in California. What would we do? Come on. Of course,
move to California.
Would move. And there is more, maybe the market. It's the market. It's a very viable venture capital ecosystem and so on and so forth. So there are reasons why opportunity-driven entrepreneurs move to another country to found the company there. And I think
we know there's a big competition between the different nations and countries about these attracting capable entrepreneurs. These like Elon are immigrants. So what are the chances in the US and Switzerland to start your business?
So to my knowledge, incubators and accelerators in both Switzerland and the United States do not differentiate by nationality. So in other words, entrepreneurs have access to the startup ecosystem regardless of their origin. So it's like we as StudioAlpha, we don't care about the origin of the startups. We want to see, do they have entrepreneurs in the team? Do they have really a problem solution fit? and do they seek for a business opportunity? And my knowledge also, Y Combinator, they don't care about the origin of these entrepreneurs. So I think from that perspective, it doesn't matter where they come from, but you have to have a viable business idea.
So let's talk about the entrepreneur, how these entrepreneurs leverage their unique cultural background.
Yeah, as a cultural background, I think this is the big fear of these right-wings politicians and the people who vote for this, because it's strange, it's foreign, it's unknown. We don't like that, as human beings. But from a perspective of entrepreneurship, diversity is quite good, That's Richard Florida is his name, and he wrote one book was The Rise of the Creative Class, and another one was Who is Your City? And he shows very clear in these books that diversity is a driving force for innovation. So it certainly doesn't hurt if startups teams are multicultural. So in that sense, that's from innovation theory. And of course, startups provide mostly, opportunity-driven startups provide mostly an innovative problem-solution fit. So that matches very well. So having diversity in an entrepreneurial team is at least not bad.
Okay, so how differ the kinds or characters of immigrants that come to the United States, that come to Switzerland versus the one that go to the United States?
I think between Switzerland and US there is one fundamental difference. Switzerland is, as I already mentioned, is a very small economy that has no natural resources and a very small domestic market. And the only scalable production factor is knowledge. So therefore, Switzerland invests above average in knowledge generation. So this has also led to Switzerland being one of the most innovative countries in the world. So if you look at the Global Innovation Index or the European Innovation Scoreboard, Switzerland is ranked as one of the most innovative countries. The United States, on the other hand, has a huge domestic market and sufficient resources. And since the United States is one of the economies with very high entrepreneurial activities, a very viable venture capital ecosystem, it is all the more important that immigrants come with entrepreneurial intentions. So that's exactly what Elon Musk is saying in this short video. So obviously, both countries are among the most innovative in the world, according to the Global Innovation Index, and also have very high per capita income adjusted for purchasing power. From the perspective of entrepreneurship research, immigration to Switzerland and the United States seems to be rather positive. For Swiss, it leads to inventions, knowledge gains, and out of that knowledge, entrepreneurs can build new products, new services, and I would say that you should do better, rather better in the United States. So obviously, both countries are among the most innovative in the world, according to the Global Innovation Index, and also have a very high per capita income. So from the perspective of entrepreneurship research, immigration to Switzerland and the United States seems to be rather positive. Of course, in Switzerland, it's more maybe knowledge-based, creative issues, and the United States it's a huge market. It's a very viable entrepreneurial and venture capital ecosystem, and both of these leads to a very high income per capita and a very high innovation performance.
Okay.
Maybe I can add another thing, because
I have a question. How do one measure innovation?
Yeah, so on a national level, we measure on one hand input factors like how many students do you have, how many doctoral students do you have, how many patents are registered, how many publications, and so on and so forth. Then you have throughput indicators. This is how much R&D activities you have in the companies, how much companies spend on research and development. And then you have output factors, and there they count the numbers of innovations. So how many product and service innovations they have, they count how many high-tech products you provide, and they count also the export rate. So are you able to export these innovations to foreign markets?
But what innovation index does not talk about is how good you are able to make money out of this innovation.
Yeah, that's the outcome factors. They are not measured, probably because they do not have the data. You can, so statistics can only measure when they have data.
Okay.
And I think it's too difficult to find data about what is the outcome of an innovation after 5 or 10 years after the last. So I think this is a problem. But let me mention one last thing, and I think this is also interesting. That's from a World Economic Forum. They provide a global social mobility index, and that shows that the social mobility score in Switzerland is higher than in the United States. So Switzerland is on position 7, and the United States is on position 27. So this kind of American dream, so that you come as a nobody to the United States, and then you start your career in a restaurant, and then you become a multi-billionaire. I think this study shows that this is not true. So if you want to move upward within one lifetime, there are countries like Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden, and so on and so forth, more interesting than the United States. And my guess is that in
So the American dream has become a Danish dream.
Yeah, no, but so only with regard on social mobility. So is it possible that you can move upward in that economic situation that you are now, and that you will be by the end of your life? And what I think one reason why these countries are positive is the education system. So they invest a lot of education, and so you can move socially, or you have a better social mobility in these countries because of the education system. Fair enough.
So basically,
that's
a social politics discussion, and not an economical discussion at this point, and not at all a business discussion.
Of course it is, because look at us, two of us, when we started our business. Look where we come from. Look at our family, where we were when we were studying, and look where we are now. And this is social mobility. But of course, we did it on one hand by education. We both did a master's degree at the University of St. Gallen. And that was like an opening door, on one hand, to maybe become a manager in a big company, or founding a company. And of course, we took the way of entrepreneurship. And I think this is the American dream, that you can come to this country, that you can start a business, as you mentioned, as with the grill, making burgers, and then you can become, if you have these personal traits of an entrepreneur, you can become rich, of course. And I think that's much easier in United States than in Europe. Fair enough. On the other hand, if you are a creative mind, then I would say it's easier to move in this on this social chain when you move to Europe, and it's so expensive. So studying at the college, at good universities in the United States, it's so expensive. So I think that's not the way that you can do it in the United States. You have to do it with entrepreneurship, because education is so expensive, and you need a sponsor. Otherwise, you cannot study at these very famous universities.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was thinking when you were talking about our education at the University of St. Gallen. I think you don't learn anything at the University of St. Gallen to become a successful entrepreneur. How should that be? Because there are basically no entrepreneurs as professors. Okay, so this is just like a theoretical background.
Oh, no. So there's no correlation. That was that study with William Bygrave from Babson College, remember? But that is exactly what this study showed, that if you have entrepreneurship course, there's no relation with the success of the companies later. And I think that's not my point. But what I mean is, when you want to become CEO of a big bank, if you want to become CEO of insurance companies, or if you want to make a career in consulting companies, of course, then St. Gallen is perfect. It's more or less for free. I don't know, we paid $400 per semester. So that's nothing. So it's very affordable for everybody. As if you're smart enough, you can study at that university. No, you don't have to bring a $100,000 or Swiss francs that you can apply for that university.
Yeah, but that's the point. That's eine andere Diskussion.
No,
There are interest groups.
I know, but Fabian, it doesn't matter, because the innovation index shows Switzerland and United States are very innovative, but they choose a different way. They choose it in Europe. We go through inventions and a lot of research driven, So Switzerland is as high because we have a lot of very good input factors, and United States is very high in this index because they have a very strong output factors. Because they are the entrepreneurs who build this. They do not build only the product and services. They really get the product market fit, and they grow. And that leads to two things. On one hand, that we are both very innovative, and on the other hand, we have a high income. So I think it's not this or that. There are two different ways, and it leads to the same success. But with regard to social mobility, United States is on the rank 27, and Switzerland is on the ranking 7. So probably for social mobility, education is not a bad thing.
That's it for today. As we just have experienced, it's not so easy to talk about immigration. It's not black and white. If you want to found your own startup and want to experience fast growth, go to the USA. If you prefer to become a manager in a corporation, Switzerland offers nice opportunities. In terms of social mobility, Switzerland stands out for its social mobility, making it more easy to move up the social ladder. And if you want to become really rich, you better go to the USA. Hey, thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.